Hello everyone, it's me Scruffy, again. Today, I'm going to share with you an incredible and dramatic story. A brave young man who rescued a lion trapped on a steep cliff. As time went by, in an unexpected twist of fate, this young man found himself in danger due to a landslide. In his most desperate moment, when death seemed imminent, a familiar roar echoed. What will the lion, the creature he once saved, do for him? Watch the entire video to discover this surprising and remarkable ending. You will not want to miss it because, believe it or not, you will not believe your eyes. But before we begin, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you do not miss any of our exciting upcoming videos. On a day of heavy rain, as you might guess, Thomas was carefully crossing a muddy area when the ground suddenly gave way beneath his feet, pulling him into a bottomless pit of mud. The cold, sticky mud quickly engulfed his legs, dragging him down deeper and deeper. Panic began to overtake Thomas's mind, with each passing second feeling like a battle for survival. His heavy breathing mixed with the pattering of rain, creating a tense and frightening atmosphere. He struggled, shouting for help in vain, but all his efforts seemed futile. Amidst his despair, a strange sound echoed from afar, the fierce roar of the lion he once saved. You see, Thomas is a highly experienced national park ranger who has dedicated his life to protecting and preserving the wilderness. Since childhood, he has loved the wild, growing up in a family with a tradition of being rangers. Thomas's father, John, inspired him and trained him with the necessary skills to become a skilled ranger. Thomas takes pride in his work and always feels a special mission when working in the forest. Each day for Thomas begins at the crack of dawn. He wakes up before sunrise, prepares his gear, and sets off to patrol the forest. Thomas knows every nook and cranny of the forest like the back of his hand, but he also knows that the dense jungle always hides unforeseen dangers. He always carries a map, a communication device, drinking water, medical supplies, and protective equipment like helmets, gloves, and anti-slip boots. Leaving the ranger station, Thomas embarks on patrol through trails, dense forests, and wilderness areas. He not only monitors and protects natural resources, but also ensures that visitors comply with regulations and do not harm the environment. Along the way, he stops to check signs, make repairs if needed, and pick up trash, keeping the area clean and beautiful. Thomas's work is not just a duty, it is a passion and a love for nature. In his spare moments, Thomas observes and records changes in the ecosystem. He carefully notes the movements of wildlife, the growth of plants, and natural phenomena. These records are not only valuable data for scientists, but also vivid, true stories of life in the deep forest. In the middle of the morning, when the sun is high, Thomas often rests in an open area with breathtaking views. He enjoys his packed lunch, listens to the birds singing, the wind rustling through the leaves, and sometimes the distant babble of a stream. This is when he relaxes, enjoys the peace, and recharges for the tasks ahead. In the afternoon, Thomas participates in educational and community activities. He conducts talks with visitors, sharing the importance of protecting nature and how each person can contribute to conservation efforts. He and volunteers engage in projects like tree planting, trail building, and cleaning up polluted areas. Every smile, every sparkle of joy in people's eyes is a great motivation for Thomas. When dusk falls, Thomas returns to the ranger station. He checks his equipment and writes down the day's events in his journal. The pages are filled with stories, memories, and valuable lessons. After dinner, Thomas relaxes by reading books, studying ecology and conservation, or simply sitting quietly, listening to nature's symphony. Thomas's life, though arduous, is full of meaning. Every day, he feels a strong connection with nature, knowing that his work is helping protect and preserve natural beauty for future generations. For Thomas, each moment in the forest is not just work, but an adventure, a journey of discovery and dedication. One morning, just like any other, Thomas and his colleagues were patrolling the dangerous mountainous forest area. A gentle breeze rustled through the trees, carrying the scent of grass and leaves. However, the morning calm was shattered by a terrifying roar from the steep cliffs. Thomas and his team immediately rushed towards the sound, filled with worry and curiosity. As they approached, Thomas and his colleagues discovered a frightening scene. A large lion was trapped on a high, precarious rock ledge. The cliff was sheer and steep, like a vertical wall blocking its path. A single misstep could send the lion tumbling down a rocky abyss. The creature appeared exhausted after hours of struggle, its legs trembling, clinging desperately to the edge. Its eyes were filled with panic and fear, sensing death was near. Thomas knew that every passing moment was precious. Any delay could push the lion into an irretrievable, dangerous situation. In this scenario, immediate action was required with absolute calm and precision. Thomas and his team quickly convened, discussed, and devised a rescue plan. They understood that even a small mistake could lead to disaster, not only for the lion, but for themselves as well. With determination and courage, Thomas and his colleagues began executing their plan. They used ropes, hooks, and other safety equipment to carefully approach the lion. Thomas instructed his colleagues step by step, ensuring everyone understood their tasks and how to perform them. They had to work as a unified team, each person with a task, but sharing a common goal: to save the lion's life. Tension enveloped the entire area. Everything unfolded under extreme pressure, with each movement needing to be precise and swift. The labored breaths of the rangers mixed with the wind whistling through the crevices, creating a suffocatingly tense atmosphere. Small rocks tumbled from above, echoing ominously, adding to the pressure on Thomas and his team. As the leader, Thomas accepted the greatest risk as he approached the lion. He knew that just one wrong step could send him down with the lion. However, the animal's eyes, filled with panic, yet also gleaming with hope upon seeing Thomas, gave him strength. In that moment, there was an invisible bond between Thomas and the lion, as if the animal understood he was there to save it. With precise and careful movements, Thomas and his team gradually pulled the lion up from the cliff. They had to keep the rope taut, with each move being cautious to avoid further scaring the animal. The rescue unfolded with intense tension, everyone highly focused, sweat beading on their foreheads. Finally, after relentless effort, they succeeded. The lion stood safely on solid ground, its legs trembling with exhaustion, but its eyes full of gratitude. It looked at Thomas as if wanting to say thank you. Its eyes no longer held panic, but were instead calm and reassured. The rescue was not only a technical success, but also a testament to the courage and teamwork of Thomas and his colleagues. Thomas felt a surge of happiness and pride in his heart. He knew that, despite the difficulties and dangers of his job, moments like these were why he loved his profession and dedicated himself to his work as a ranger. The rainy season had arrived, bringing torrential downpours and landslides. The ground became weak and roads turned into dangerous muddy rivers. Thomas and his team tirelessly patrolled, checking risky areas and warning locals of lurking hazards. The heavy rains seemed to want to drown everything, making access to dangerous areas more challenging than ever. One day, after a fierce storm had passed, Thomas went on a routine forest patrol. No one expected this to be a journey full of trials and dangers. As Thomas carefully stepped through a muddy area, the ground suddenly gave way beneath him, pulling him into a bottomless mud pit. The cold, sticky mud quickly engulfed his legs, dragging him down deeper and deeper. Thomas struggled to free himself, but each attempt only made him sink further. Panic began to overtake Thomas's mind. He clearly felt the cold mud tightening its grip on him, with every effort seeming futile. His labored breathing mixed with the pattering of rain, creating a tense and frightening atmosphere. He called for help, but the desolate forest seemed to swallow all sound. When all hope seemed lost, our brave ranger, Thomas, heard a strange sound echoing from afar. His heart raced with anxiety. It was the roar of the lion he once saved. Incredibly, fate had brought it back at this moment. Would it be a threat or a blessing for him? The lion approached, its eyes shining as if recognizing Thomas, the one who saved its life. In an instant, there seemed to be an invisible bond between them as the lion sensed the perilous situation Thomas was in. It did not hesitate, immediately taking action, using its strength and agility to dig through the mud and debris weighing down Thomas's body. Thomas lay there, gasping, his breath weakening as his body began to succumb. In a haze, he only felt movement around him as the lion worked tirelessly to remove the mud to rescue him. When he awoke, the morning light shone through the canopy, and he saw his rescue team already there, kindly caring for and helping him. Looking into the distance, he saw the lion's silhouette fading away into the trees, walking leisurely and freely. Thomas felt his heart swell with gratitude and respect. Looking up at the clear blue sky, he felt life surging within his chest. An unimaginable adventure had just unfolded, and a special bond with the lion had been formed, a gift from nature he would never forget. This story, with all its wonder and surprise, will be forever retold as a vivid testament to courage and loyalty between humans and nature. It is truly amazing how wild animals sometimes become lifesavers in the most perilous moments. That moment created a special bond between Thomas and the lion. The grateful look in the animal's eyes when it was saved was etched into Thomas's mind, reminding him of the power of unity and courage. The lion became not just a wild animal, but a symbol of loyalty and the strong connection between humans and nature. Whenever Thomas recalled that moment, he felt proud of what he and his team had accomplished. Since then, every time he patrolled the forest, he felt the lion's presence as a silent companion. The patrols became more lively with the feeling that he was never alone. Sometimes, he could spot the lion's silhouette or hear its distant roar. These were subtle yet meaningful signs, reminding Thomas that he always had a special friend in this vast forest. The special relationship with the lion sparked a new passion in Thomas, making him cherish and respect the wild even more. He spent more time observing and studying the natural world around him. Thomas meticulously recorded his daily observations, from how the lion hunted to moments it rested under the trees. He learned much about the social structure of lions and how they protect their territory. This knowledge not only aided him in his work as a ranger, but also opened up a new world for him, vibrant and rich. Every time he delved into books and materials about lions, Thomas felt like he was gradually understanding his special friend better. He knew that in this wild world, understanding and mutual respect were paramount. He also realized that the relationship between humans and animals could be built on trust and love. On quiet evenings, sitting by the campfire, Thomas often thought about the lion and wondered what it was doing. He imagined its journeys through the forest, its challenging hunts, and moments of rest under the moonlight. All these musings made Thomas feel closer to nature and more passionate about his work. Beyond this story, there are other touching tales of animals rescuing humans from danger. First, we must mention our most loyal friends. There have been many instances of them saving humans from danger. For example, there is a video capturing a scene near a lake where a little girl was playing with her favorite toy. Unfortunately, the toy fell into the lake and drifted away, and the girl reached out to retrieve it. However, the lake was deep and dangerous for her. Fortunately, a dog saw the situation. Like a silent hero, the dog quickly ran to the girl, grabbed her close, and pulled her away from the dangerous water. Then, the dog waded into the lake, retrieved the toy, and brought it back to the girl. The dog's actions seemed to say, "It's dangerous. Let me help." The dog not only saved the girl's life, but also taught us about courage and the care of a true friend. There is also a story about a dog sitting with a girl under a large tree, enjoying the fresh air. Suddenly, the dog began to show signs of worry, growling and trying to pull her away from the spot. The girl was a bit annoyed and returned to her seat, but the dog pulled her away again. Just seconds later, a large branch broke and fell right where she had been sitting. The dog's quick and courageous action turned it into a silent hero. Sometimes, the best protectors come from unexpected places. The dog was not just a companion, but also a true savior. Another story is about a lion rescuing a 12-year-old girl from being kidnapped. In a small village in Ethiopia, where fields stretch under the scorching sun, the villagers' lives are peaceful and in harmony with nature. However, one day in 2005, that peace was shattered by a horrific event. A 12-year-old girl was kidnapped by 7 men who intended to force her to marry one of them. Amazingly, from the dense bushes, 3 lions suddenly emerged, roaring fiercely, scaring the kidnappers away in panic. The lions not only chased the kidnappers away, but also stood guard around the girl, forming a protective circle. It seemed they understood the girl needed protection and were ready to face any danger approaching. The 3 lions continued to guard her, keeping her safe from harm. When local authorities received the news and arrived on the scene, they were astonished to see the lions still guarding the girl. The rescuers approached cautiously, fearing the lions might attack. However, once they realized the girl was safe in the hands of her rescuers, the 3 lions quietly left, disappearing into the forest like natural guardian spirits. The girl was returned to her family's loving embrace. Her story quickly spread, becoming a legend of courage and the protection of the lions. People believed it was a miracle of nature, a reminder that help can sometimes come from the most unexpected places. Next is the story of a pod of dolphins and 2 whales that saved a fisherman from a shipwreck. In 2008, Ronnie Dabal, a Filipino fisherman, was diligently working in Puerto Princesa Bay, Palawan, not knowing that fate had set up an unforgettable adventure for him. While casting his nets, Ronnie's boat suddenly capsized, throwing him into the cold, dangerous sea. With only a foam raft as a lifeline, Ronnie began his survival struggle, battling fierce waves and strong winds that seemed to want to swallow him whole. For 24 long hours, Ronnie clung to the raft, hoping for a miracle. The cold, dark nights, the howling winds, and crashing waves were like terrifying symphonies of nature, filling him with fear and despair. His body grew weak, with each large wave extinguishing any small glimmer of hope. As his last strength waned, Ronnie began to sink, thinking death was near. But then, in the darkest moment, a miracle truly happened. From afar, a pod of dolphins appeared, swimming swiftly towards Ronnie. These intelligent and lively creatures were very kind, and they began to work together to help him. At the same time, 2 enormous whales arrived, aiding in pushing the raft and Ronnie towards the island shore. The dolphins and whales came like heroes from a fairy tale, yet this was a real and unexpectedly moving event. Who could have imagined that amidst the vastness of the sea, where there seemed to be only coldness and cruelty, there existed the kindness and compassion of intelligent sea creatures? In the darkest moment, when all hope seemed to be drowned by the waves, nature reached out to help Ronnie. Perhaps it was a gift from the sea for him, a man who devoted his life to the ocean. This story makes me realize that sometimes miracles do exist and are granted when we least expect them, reminding us of kindness and the wonders that can happen even in the harshest circumstances. The final story is about a man who jumped from the Golden Gate Bridge in the United States and was saved by a sea lion. In 2006, Kevin Hines, a 19-year-old young man struggling with depression, went to San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge with the intention of ending it all. Standing on the famous bridge, looking down at the cold, deep water, Kevin could not have imagined that the moment he jumped would change his life forever. as Kevin plunged from a height of 4,200 feet, or about 1,180 meters, equivalent to a building over 20 stories tall. He regretted it mid-air, but it was too late. The violent impact caused severe spinal injuries, preventing him from swimming back to shore. In the cold, lonely waters, Kevin felt himself sinking, each breath becoming more difficult than ever. At that moment, he thought he would never see daylight again. But then a miracle happened. From the depths of the ocean, a sea lion appeared, like a guardian angel. The large and powerful creature swam close to Kevin, using its body to support him and keep him afloat. Its presence not only brought hope, but also the strength for Kevin to stay alive. The sea lion kept him afloat and protected him from the strong currents. Though he could not understand why, Kevin felt comforted by the creature's presence. It seemed to understand he needed help and did not leave his side until human rescuers arrived. The rescue workers and doctors were astonished to hear the story of the sea lion saving Kevin's life. They could not believe that in a moment of utter despair, a marine creature became an unexpected hero. After the incident, he overcame his depression and became an inspirational speaker. These animals did not hesitate to help humans, reminding me of the value of unity and compassion in life. I feel fortunate to witness and share these extraordinary stories, which teach me about courage and deepen my gratitude for nature's silent heroes. Thanks to them, I realize that even though we belong to different species, kindness and care can transcend all boundaries. Whether human or animal, all life has value and deserves respect. Unity and compassion can create miracles, bringing hope and faith to us all. Above all, Thomas's story with the lion shows that within every heart lies an immense strength waiting to be discovered and shine. Share this video if you find it interesting, and do not forget to stay tuned for more videos where we continue to explore the strange and wonderful creatures of the animal world. Goodbye, and see you next time.